Who would have thought that a video we record in 2023 is this? Adios 8 against HOKA Cielo Road. This really comes as a surprise to me, but it's a good surprise, and here's why. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we are comparing two shoes that I never thought I would actually compare on this channel. But here we are, the Adidas Adios 8 against the HOKA Cielo Road. This shoe comes from Top for Running, there's a link in the description, and this one comes from Running Warehouse, there's also a link in the description. Go purchase your shoes with these links, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It really greatly helps the channel. Thanks a lot for using the links. Why is it a good surprise to compare these shoes? Simply because this also means that there is a real market and real good shoes on the market for new, modern, super flats. Those racing flats that you all know about from a few years ago are back with a bit more slack, but not too much, and new compounds, and that makes a whole lot of a difference. These two shoes are the perfect example of two different ways of making very, very nice and competitive modern racing flats. Let's quickly look at the differences in terms of specs. I'm not going to list them because you have them in the separate standalone reviews for these two shoes. The lightest shoe between the two is the Cielo Road. It's 12 grams lighter compared to the Adios 8. The shoe with the lower stack height is the Adios 8. It sits 3 millimeters under the Cielo Road in the heel. The two shoes have a modern foam in the forefoot, but the Cielo Road has it also in the heel because this is only one block of PBA foam, whereas the Adios 8 has another compound in the heel. The Adios 8 has a plate, the Cielo Road doesn't. And this is pretty much everything you need to know in terms of specs. How do they feel? How do they ride? They feel super similar. And this is why it's interesting, but this is also why it's hard for me to come up with a very clear answer to the question you're all asking now. Which shoe should I get? I'm gonna go quickly on how they compare part by part, and I'm gonna finish with the ride. Looking at the upper, you have two minimal uppers looking very, very similar. Those see-through meshes on the two shoes. Super, super light, super breathable. They're so similar that I wouldn't give a winner in terms of material. The laces are better on the HOKA. The fit, I would say, is very comparable on the two shoes. The Adidas runs maybe a touch longer, whereas the HOKA has maybe a tiny bit of a snugger fit. Nothing too different here either. But again, these are good fits. Maybe a bit more snug on the HOKA, maybe a bit longer on the Adios 8. If you have a wider forefoot, the Adios 8 is also maybe the better option here. Looking at the insoles on the two shoes, they're removable on the two sides, which is good if you want to put your own orthotics in them. This shoe has a small heel tab right here that you can see. This one doesn't. Tiny difference, but it's so marginal between the two shoes, the battle, that we need to go into such tiny differences. Let's look at the midsole. Like I said, this is only PBA foam. You know, the foam coming from the Vaporfly, the Rocket X2 now with HOKA, that modern, very bouncy, but also very energetic, very responsive foam. In a version that HOKA, I think, is really nailing, a very good flavor of it. And here you have Light Strike 2.0 in the heel, a foam that is dampening yet a bit softer than the predecessor Light Strike, the OG Light Strike, let's call it. And in the forefoot you have some Light Strike Pro, a slightly bouncier and more energetic foam compared to Light Strike 2.0. And here you have a plate. It's a plastic plate, the pink thing you see right here. It allows for a bit of snappiness in the forefoot. So you may say this shoe is more snappy. Well, it isn't, because the Cielo Road has a very thick layer of outsole, which really encapsulates the PBA foam in the forefoot and adds that snappiness that you don't necessarily expect from this shoe, being non-plated, but you definitely have a lot of snappiness because of the rigidity, firmness, and encapsulation of the outsole here on this shoe. This is also why I would say these two shoes work super well for midfoot, forefoot strikers. If you're a heel striker, they are probably quite different because of the compounds here you have in the heel being different. It's probably a softer and, let's say, more pleasant shoe at lower paces. Here with the Cielo Road, this one is a bit more stable in the heel if you're a heel striker. It has that asymmetrical bevel, which work really well. And if you have higher levels of pronation, the Adios 8 is a better shoe. Why do they work better for midfoot and forefoot strikers? Simply because they have that let's say, flat profile in the midfoot, very slow rocker, almost inexistent. They both have that snappiness coming at toe off. With the forefoot push on the two shoes, that's where you will feel it the most. And if you're a forefoot striker only, then the two feel even closer. Looking at the outsole, continental grip on the Adidas shoe and the HOKA rubber on this one. I'm not sure there's a name for it. I think there is. This is a bell that I think the Adidas wins because of how good continental rubber is, how proven it is. The HOKA rubber never really did anything special. The durability on this shoe will be very good though, but the grippiness will go to the Adios 8. Price point, €140, $140 for the Adidas, €160, $160 for the Cielo Road. Again, a battle that the Adidas wins. You know, you need to choose essentially between a very comprehensive shoe at a better price point and a shoe coming with a full PIBA midsole at a slightly more expensive price point. If you are using it for something more than intervals, then I think the Cielo Road will do a better job because of the PIBA foam being throughout the midsole and allowing you to also go at slightly easier paces. If it's an interval shoe only, I would go Adios 8. And this is my comparison of the two shoes. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's put the comparison of the Boston 12 and the Mac X here on the screen. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, and go beyond your limits. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.